What's up, folks? This is Timon from Timon's Podcast here. Wishing you a wonderful evening, day, or whatever time that may be, or it may be for you guys. Just cracked open a nice cold kombucha. Hopefully that crack of the can will be your welcome for the next couple hours. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this podcast coming up. I get to sit down with a good old buddy. I don't know if good old buddy's the right word. I sit down with a buddy named Johan. I've known him for quite a few years. We've intermingled in similar circles. I've seen him crush it at being creative and going his own path and just listening to what the Lord is telling him to do. So I really respect and admire. And I have to tell you, he makes the best damn guac. And I know I just cursed. I'm sorry, Dad. But that's what the title of his, or that's what he calls his guacamole. The best damn guac around. I think he does. If not, whoops. But it's pretty stinking solid. It is delicious. I've brought it to parties before, and people are like, "What is this?" And I say, "It's Johan. It's Guac N Squat." And Johan and I, we've gone to church together a couple times. That's kind of how I first initially met him. We'll get into it in the podcast, but this is a good podcast to have. I really enjoyed sitting down with him and kind of just listening to his story, listening to the things he's doing, listening to his direction and the thoughts that he's having. So I think you guys will enjoy that as well. Sometimes I just get thoughts in my head like, hey, you need a podcast with this person. And I was just kind of doing my daily work. I think it's God just popping a little thought in my head sometimes, but that's me. It's like, hey, you need to talk to Johan. And I really appreciated him sitting down and just spending a couple hours and telling me what's going on. So I hope this blesses you. It blessed me. He's the homie. He really is. And so, enjoy it. And if you really have not tried any of his food, whether it's the guacamole or the slap and spread peanut butter, I say check it out. And I'll be posting links when he gets his website up and going. I'm going to be pushing that because if you're not in the Goshen area, it's worth taking a test run and buying a little bit of his peanut butter and seeing where it goes because I'm a little skeptical when I see expensive peanut butter, but when I had it, oh my word, yeah, worth it every single time. And you're buying it from a person making it, and the ingredients there are literally what's in the ingredients list. It's so simple. It's perfect. So anyways, I'll get done with that. Let me just get into some business real quick. Thank you to our sponsors. Golf Lessons with John on Facebook. Go check him out. He gives golf lessons. He's not really sponsoring me right now, but he's doing awesome stuff. If you follow him on Instagram, I don't know if he's posted on Instagram, but he's getting back into the fitness journey, and he's writing a book as well. So it's Adoption, a Breakdown. I think the last podcast I said Adoption and Breakdown, which doesn't make any sense. But this one, the book he's actually writing is Adoption, a Breakdown. So if you want to check him out on YouTube or check him out on Instagram, it's Adoption_a_breakdown. And you'll find him on both those media channels. I'll also quickly say I got the Timon and Lincoln Show. If you like the Timon's podcast, the long form podcast, which you're listening to now, I got two other podcasts that I do. I do the Timon and Lincoln Show with my buddy Lincoln, where we just rag on Grace College and have a lot of fun. That's not all we do. We talk about a lot of things. It's like 6 things that we talk about, and that's all we do is talk about those 6 things. And then Dadcast. That's where I sit down with my dad and we talk about spiritual things. There should either a Dadcast have just dropped after I post this, or it will drop after I post this episode. I'm not sure when I'm going to post either of those, but there's a Dadcast coming or has come. So check that out. I think you'll really enjoy it. If you're into churchy activities, heavenly things, and spiritual stuff, this may not be the podcast for you, but it may actually make you think about certain things. Well, so, I think I enjoy it. I enjoy sitting down and talking to my dad. He's got so much wisdom and so much knowledge. And, I respect him so much, right? But it's cool to actually document it. So we've done a number of Dadcasts, and you'll see in my Timon's Podcast Network. That's where you find me on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you want to find my podcasts. It's a whole network of podcasts, and you're listening to one of 3 types of podcasts I do. But Dadcast, you'll see specifically says Dadcast. I know in Spotify you can filter it, so... Anyways, let's get back to Johan. Enough talking. I only had one kombucha, so I was like, I'm going to crack this. We're going to go. And that's why this intro is like 27 minutes long, which is way too long. But yeah, enough of me. And here's Johan. We're live.
Oh, hey, that was fast.
Welcome, Johan. How's it
Hi.
going?
It's going good. It's a nice cloudy day, which are my favorite, personally.
I'm at one before we start.
Oh.
I'm gonna get this a little closer. If you could kind of speak into the mic.
Oh.
Just it's always easier for me to pull the audio down. I'm sorry,
so
man.
No, you're good.
You were in your you're vibing for a second.
No, it's fine. I'm not used to talking to mics this close.
I'll pull this up a little bit too for you, if that's okay.
No, that's fine. Hey, we got it.
Yeah, they're not gonna be able to see you, but
No, it's okay. I'm half in there or something.
You like cloudy days?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Cloudy, rainy.
Yeah. We didn't know how much it rained here until we moved here.
Yeah.
And then we realized, hey, it rains as much as it does in where we want to be, the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
And we're here for it. Actually, fun fact, it actually rains here more technically than it does in Seattle.
Does it really?
Because of the lake effect.
Wow. I knew we get a ton of rain.
Yeah.
I knew that, but I didn't know it was the same as.
Well, yeah, people think like, oh, Seattle, it's always rainy, blah, blah, this or that. It's like,
Right.
well, just go to Goshen.
Yeah.
Just go to Michiana. It freaking rains there more than Seattle. I'm
That's
like,
wild.
Great.
Have you ever driven south on 15 and you go across 6th and it's a different, like, you know, the 6 and 15, like as you're going towards Warsaw?
Okay.
When you cross that line, that US 6 line, it's two different, like, atmospheres.
I can't say that I'm familiar with it because I don't drive down there that often, nor have I recognized it. Because whenever I did go, it's because I was in a rush.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be able to answer that properly
Yeah.
with my, probably 4 times I've gone to Warsaw in the last 6 years.
Yeah, you're not missing out going that far down.
I guess, yeah.
But it's that's the line for, I think.
Is it really?
It really is. It can be raining on one side and sunny on the other.
What?
It's interesting.
That's wild.
Or even when it snows. It
Yeah.
snows more here, but it doesn't there.
I don't know, man. I'm just here making guac. I guess I'm not paying attention to that much.
Yeah. So you like this area? That's crazy.
No.
Like the weather.
The
of this
weather
area.
is incredible. I grew up in South Texas.
Okay.
So there was absolutely no variation in like climate. You either had hot or really hot.
It's just
Yeah. 'Cause, for example, our Christmases, we wake up, it's 110 outside.
Oh, jeez.
110 degrees and like 98% humidity. So
Oh,
it is
wow.
moist and hot.
Oh, that's not fun.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy it.
Do you really? Okay.
Well, yeah, I grew up there for 20 years.
Yeah. So this is
And I am one of those freakazoids that love sweating and like yard work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, that's gross, blah, blah, what's wrong with you? But hey, I'm the one laughing because I never had acne issues. I never had any skin issues. Because I was always sweating because it was so hot.
Yeah.
My body was constantly moisturizing itself.
Oh, interesting.
With the sweat.
And detoxing everything too, and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
think of it as a portable sauna. And yeah, people don't like it. But at the same time, I married a Finnish girl, my wife,
Yeah.
Anna, and she hates it because she is literally designed for cold.
Yeah.
She's super pale,
Yeah.
super white, blonde,
Yeah.
and thrives
Blue
in the
eyes?
cold. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And she told me, she went on a mission trip to Finland, and she told me, she's like, babe, I got to, jump into a freezing lake in the fjords, in the Nordic fjords.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool for her. Great.
Yeah, you have
I'm
been
brown.
like...
I'm a brown bean, bro. Like, we don't do that. And she goes outside in a shirt, and she's just like, oh, this feels so good and cold.
Yeah.
It's like 35.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I'm getting my neck gaiter out. I'm getting 2 hoodies. I'm getting my beanie because I'm bald.
Yeah.
Like, it's not happening for me. And then she complains about the heat.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she's not brown.
I'd rather it be cold than
Of
hot.
course.
That's
Yeah, obviously, you look like you
Yeah.
have a Scandinavian descent.
Yeah.
So it's what your genetics were designed
And
for.
I'm always running hot too.
Are you?
I don't know if that makes sense, but
It's
yeah.
because it's your
Yeah.
genetics, man.
It's
Your
crazy.
people groups where you came from were designed with that in mind.
Right.
Whereas me, I don't sunburn because
Yeah,
I tan really nice.
I don't tan at all.
You lobster, right?
Yeah.
Just like my wife.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's been great seeing that dynamic, and now having mixed babies
Oh, nice.
that are half Finnish, half Mexican, or Spaniard mostly, it's seeing that dynamic where their skin tone is neither like ours. It is a beautiful olivey mix.
Oh, wow.
And it is just really nice that they have those characteristics where they won't ever sunburn, but they also will be able to resist the cold.
Yeah.
They
got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's the
so
genetics that we're combining.
That's so cool. How many kids do you have?
I currently have 2.
Okay.
A 5-year-old girl, Finley, and then a 2, almost 3-year-old boy named Atlas.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah. And they're amazing loves.
I see Anna taking them on walks every once in a while.
Yes, yeah.
And so
we are very big about, especially at this young age, I forgot what they called it, but I think they called it outdoor kindergarten.
Okay.
Especially in Finland, we've been using a lot of techniques they use in Finland. Finland's education system is skyrocketing.
Yeah.
It is amongst one of the best in the world.
Oh, wow.
Amazing. And a lot of what they do in the early years, up to 8 years of age, is more exploring, walks, playing, than it is bookwork and memorization.
Because so I've heard that a child can learn how to read quickly when they're ready to.
Exactly.
And so if you're forcing them to do something, you're just hitting your head against a wall.
In a sense, unless they're naturally gifted for it. And that's where us as parents have learned to really pay attention to our kiddos. Really pay attention to what their interests are. Instead of buying them all kinds of hip and trending toys.
You're right.
We started buying just a variety, see what she liked.
Oh.
She liked books. She liked colors. She liked...
this is Finley. Yep.
Yes, and she liked really getting a lot of, very detailed. So we bought her a little bunny house where she has her little bunnies, and she loves pretending to play with those bunnies. We bought her Prismacolor set. Prismacolor is a high-end, color set for color pencils, and she loved them. She really goes and takes her time within the line. And
those are good color pencils.
And she does some really cool art for being 4 and 5.
Wow.
Yeah, but because we paid attention, we fed into her natural giftings.
That's smart.
Instead of forcing her to do something she's not good at. She's amazing in school, the homeschool that we've started.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
She kindergarten right now?
I don't know. My wife takes care of it.
Yeah.
But based on what I see, and sometimes when I pitch in on the classes, she does amazing, and that's her gifting. That's what she's naturally gifted at. My son is not.
Yeah.
My son does not color within the lines. My son does not color well. My son does not draw well. But he's extremely analytical to an annoying degree. Yeah. Where he will put something, and if it's moved by us, he loses his mind. And now that's where us as parents come and be like, hey, this is where you learn to control your emotions.
Right.
But at the same time, we're noticing you're very analytical. You're very not controlling, but you like things a certain way.
It has to be in its place. It
exactly.
has to do
But he also is very compassionate. He feels bad when he hits Sissy on accident.
Right.
He apologizes more than Finley does. So we're seeing those character traits begin to blossom. He loves mechanical things. He loves cars. He loves
that's awesome.
What we call go-go's. Because that's what he calls them.
Yeah.
Yes. So he loves go-go's. He loves looking at the wheels, the mechanics. Why do they spin? So he's very engineering.
So you'll start feeding that
exactly,
as he gets older.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
My daughter is more artistic.
Right. And why push her? I mean, it'd be good for her to know maybe base level stuff eventually, right? Sure. But it's not like you have to be spending all your time figuring this out now.
No. And based on the research that Finland has provided, a lot of the kids blossom and do very well later in life learning this stuff because they pick it up like that. Whilst they spent their early life learning how the world works and it was designed. And the cool thing about Finland is 2 things that we really enjoy about their education system. There are no private schools. It is not allowed over there.
Oh, interesting.
So it forces people of all backgrounds, whether high class or lower class in the caste system, poor or rich, to live alongside each other and learn about, hey, what's your home life like, and you get to learn about different caste systems and not to judge, and people, grow closer together.
Yeah.
And we love that, it's like, and the other cool thing is in Finland, everyone's yearly earnings are public records.
Oh, really?
So I can tell, if we were in Finland, I would know how much you make a year.
Really?
And you would know how much I make a year.
Wow.
And if anything, it's created, based on the little I've seen of it, it's created a healthy kind of competitive neighbor to neighbor thing. It's like, hey, you're making this much, what can I learn from you?
Yeah.
Instead of it being like,
Keep
oh,
it
look
hidden.
at them, like, oh, look at how much money they're making. Like,
Yeah.
no, like, be humble and ask.
Wow.
It's just fascinating.
That's really cool.
And so when you look outside of the very tiny United States,
Right.
because everyone wants you to think the United States is giant, it's like, no. Compared to the rest of the world, like Asia, you start seeing, like, everyone's doing it a little different.
Right.
What can we learn from them?
Right.
And why are we so looking inwards that,
Right.
you know, it's just, yeah.
It's interesting because I heard, I don't know if it was, I think at the moment now there's 5 million homeschoolers.
Are they?
5 million. And when it was like 10 years ago, it was 1 million, or if that.
Sure.
And it's just exploding
Good.
like in the past couple of years.
Great.
And that's such a cool thing because you can choose what education you want to give to your child.
Yes.
And you can choose, like you said, what fits for them. Like, what is that? And I love that. I absolutely love it because then your child probably better than
Absolutely.
anyone else.
Yes,
Yeah. So you can foster that, and you guys really
Exactly.
care about that too. It's a huge. I was homeschooled, and so
what a blessing.
yeah,
I was not.
yeah. It's interesting because I found out when the job I do now,
Sure.
I work from home.
Yep.
And it's all project based. It's like you have a goal and you have to achieve those goals. It's not based on the hours. It's based. I'm in sales, so the goal is to make the sale. And there's no one telling me how to do it or what to do. I have to figure it out every single day. Like there's some guidelines there,
Sure.
but it's really based on the amount of discipline I have and the amount of work I'm willing to put into it.
Right.
And that's all I did growing up.
Exactly.
I woke up in the morning. I did my schoolwork. My goal was to get it done, to do whatever I wanted to, and I had the discipline to do it. Now, I wasn't there for 8 hours doing work.
Yeah.
And my mom didn't stretch out my work to make 8 hours. She said, these are the things you have to complete today. I don't know how to teach you. Read it, learn it, figure it out.
Strong.
And then go. And so that's really I feel like I'm just still homeschooling myself.
Yeah.
And I'm 30.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I am blessed to be set up like that. It's very interesting.
Well, and not everyone has that ability,
Yeah.
and it's unfortunate because they feel crippled. Because, like, what do I do? Like, how do
Right.
I start something? It's like, well, because you had to do everything yourself. And I went to a private school where instead of having one teacher, it was a private Christian school, very low-end caste system kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you got paces. So you
Yeah.
got little booklets.
We did paces as well. Yeah.
So you get your books and you do them, and if you have a question, there's an assistant, not a teacher,
Yeah.
that comes over and tries to help you. And you get to
You
decide-
raise your hand, or did you have like a
We
little
had a
thing?
flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did the paces.
Oh, with
in
Ace?
high school, yeah, with Ace.
Oh.
And it was so like throughout my homeschooling, there was different things that we did.
Yeah.
But that was one, and I'm like, well, I realized I could do I think it was like 12 paces or something like that to
Yeah.
complete it.
Yes.
So you could do that as fast as you wanted to.
or as slow as you want.
As slow as you want.
And you could choose the subjects you wanted. That,
Right. Do all math today.
Yeah.
And just math, and then
Exactly.
tomorrow I'll do science or whatever.
Exactly. And luckily for me, I went into a high school that instead of 8 classes, which sounds absolutely nutty, we only did 4 classes a day, even actually 2, because one was an elective and one was a sport if you decided to. And so for the first half of the year, I only had math and science.
Oh wow.
And for this latter half of the year, I only had English and social studies.
Wow.
This allowed more students to focus on that subject and have more free time because there was no homework.
Right.
As much.
Yeah.
Because you only have 2 subjects versus
You're at home
8
anyways.
classes,
Yeah.
8 homeworks or whatever. Sounds absolutely insane.
It does.
But I was blessed with that. And also a cool thing about Finland, they don't do homework. And
Oh, really?
they don't do standardized testing.
Really?
And they have very successful, very intelligent kids who at bare minimum have at least 2 or 3 languages under their belt.
Wow. Yeah.
Proficient.
Wow.
Yeah, no homework because that based on what the educational system over there believes in is these are growing, blossoming children. they need to be learning about how the world works, not memorizing something they're going to forget.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true.
When you have homework, you rob them of their free time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know kids who, and especially if they're in sports too.
Sure.
Then it's like they get done with their sports, and then it's the next 3 hours from 8 to 11.
Yeah.
They sleep, go up, go back to school.
And if you can do it, great, but it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
And also, it teaches them work is at work, home is at home. You do not bring home work, because then that involves or takes over family time. And then you see dads that are always stressed or on the phone,
right,
at
doing
home,
work,
yelling or not being with their kids because you brought work home.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
And so I thought that was fascinating. And then obviously the no standardized testing is like, hey, you learned this, great. You know, you'll forget it probably, but at least you're aware of it.
Right.
And if you have an interest in it, you'll do the research yourself.
Right.
But you're not slowing other people down.
Right. That's so true. I was just the other day, this morning I was thinking about the law of thermodynamics, and I learned those.
Oh, yeah?
But I don't remember them, and I looked them up. You know what I mean? But I knew what they were.
Yeah.
And you can go and look at them. And
Sure.
you're like, oh, yeah, okay, these are the laws. And now I still don't remember what they were. You're fine. Yeah.
I hit the doggo.
Yeah. Does it look like Joe?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. My old roommate, his girlfriend painted that. And so she's a wonderful artist.
Yeah, there's texture in there.
Yeah.
3D texture in the paws and everything. Very nice.
Yeah. Okay, let's give the people. So you're Johan.
I am Johan. Hello. Yeah. I am Johan.
Hello, world.
Yes.
We met probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Yes.
You came to the church that I was attending back when we would do Saturday night churches.
Correct.
And I've seen you around, and I've visited you multiple times.
Yes.
Right? Tell everyone what you do in Goshen.
So I am
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I am the Guac Man. I am Goshen's Guac Man for the last 3 years. I own and operate Guac N Squat.
Mm-hmm.
I own and operate Slap and Spread. And I own and operate ANJO and Featherless Designs. Mm-hmm. All 4 companies that I made. So that's guacamole, peanut butter, concrete, and carpentry. Now.
Yeah. That's the pins that you do,
yeah,
right?
I used to make pins like this, but there was no interest in them at the farmers market, which is a very small market. But I'm actually here going to try to relaunch them on Facebook Marketplace to see if there's any interest. And if there's not, I'll just give it a rest and then make really cool pins for my family and myself.
Yeah. Well, I know at one point you were making those Switch controllers.
Yes, so I was not making the controllers, but I was making skins for the controllers that you would put on the back of your console. And again, it's just I get discouraged really easily. So if like I put out there a product for a month on Etsy or wherever and no one buys it, I'm like, I'm not trying.
Yeah.
But I'm also I'm very delicate when it comes to kind of feedback like that.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. I'm up in the air for it. But so I've been living here in Goshen for about 5 years.
Right. And you're from Texas originally. 6?
Since 2013, bro.
Oh,
Am I insane? Hold on. That's
9
7
years?
plus 2. That's 9. Why do I say 5? My goodness.
So you're here before your kids, right? Yeah. Okay, and I met you because you were working with Kevin.
Yes, Kevin.
That's kind of how and is that what brought you to Goshen, or what brought you to Goshen?
Not. So I grew up in Texas. I was born in Mexico. My parents brought us over here at the age of 3 for business opportunities for my father. He grows citrus for a living.
Oh, okay.
Amazing man. Very, very intelligent, but did not know how to be a father.
Oh, okay.
But it happens, you know. And me as a father now know where he comes from, but he could have handled it better.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. Like, I'm a dad now, and the stuff you did is, like, questionable.
Yeah.
If we were both 30 years old, I'd be like, hey, bro, what's going on here?
Yeah, why are you doing this?
Yeah, it's okay, though. And then I lived there for about 20 years and graduated in high school in Texas. I went to 1 semester of college.
Okay.
I was like, why are they making me pay for all these classes where I want to be an architect? And I went up to the office and like, hey, can I just take the classes that are relevant for being an architect instead of, English
and, or math?
Well, math, technically for numbers and stuff, but what's going on here? Are you just wanting more money? Like, why?
Yeah.
and then I have to pay for the books that I don't care about.
Yeah.
Now I'm out.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
and
wise decision.
And yeah.
So I went to college, and it's not, the job I have is not because of college.
Yeah, it's and you're seeing a lot more of that now. I believe in trade school.
Yeah.
Because they get directly to the point, and they train you specifically for what you're doing.
Right.
But general college, to each their own. There are some that are very needed.
If you're going to be a doctor,
dentist, hygienist, something like
accountant,
that.
possibly,
yes.
Things like that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I know some very excellent accountants that do not have degrees.
Right.
All because of word of mouth.
Interesting.
But,
okay.
It's just, and again, we're two people on the same track. There's a lot of people who don't have that and feel probably upset because they spent the $50,000.
Well, I finished.
Yeah,
I did. I spent the money.
Oh, I see.
I'm still paying it.
I did not. And there's two sides. Yeah, two sides of that, and it's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is. Yeah. It's the way that high school kind of chugs it down your throat.
It was definitely the thing.
Funnels it. It's like, hey, you got to do this or else you're a failure.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't want to be a failure.
Yeah.
Let's do this. And now you see kids graduating with earning as much as people who didn't.
Right.
And
I have 4 younger siblings, and I've advised all 4 of them not to go to college. One's still in high school.
Okay.
One is going to turn 21 here this year. And the other 2 are, I think you've met my sisters. They're like just a couple of years underneath me. And none of them have gone, and they're all doing successful things. Without the debt. You know what I mean? So I think for me, it was good to tell them no. Like, hey, this is what my life was like.
Yeah.
But there were some good things. I'm glad. But the positives, I harp on the college that I went to a lot on this podcast. So all of the listeners who have heard, they know.
They know, okay.
In college, just got a Starbucks, and I did a whole podcast about how they're worshiping Satan. But anyways, yeah. Okay. Anyways, that was a little made up. It was a little funny, but
yeah. Wow.
I did a whole podcast on it. So
that's brutal. So after college, I was like, okay, well, what do I do? And I've been a believer all my life, ever since I was 4 years old. My grandma told me something very simple. Jesus is who made this world. He is the king of this world. And I'm like, great. How do I meet him? You ask him to live inside your heart, and he does. And so I just prayed with my grandma. It's like, hey, Jesus, I would like to invite you to come and live in my heart and get to know you. And when I was very little, I had a lot of imaginary friends, very creative, very mechanically, just like my son Atlas, actually. So I see a lot of that in him about me. And as I grew up, all my imaginary friends started disappearing because I grew up.
Right.
But Jesus didn't.
Oh, interesting.
Because he's real.
Yeah.
And I got to have a relationship with him from a very young age. I understood that he is not a physical person, but he is a spirit. He is he is Jesus, the Son of the Father, or Yeshua, as his Hebrew name is, not his Greek and Roman name, Jesus.
Yeah.
And it was just, and so ever since, I've always had that. I've always had that voice, that Holy Spirit, leading me to all things in life. To growing up with girls, with all kinds of struggles as teenagers do. And after high school, I was like, "What do I do, God? Like, what the crap? Like, I don't like this. I don't want to spend my time here. I don't want to spend my father's money here. He was blessing me by paying for it, and I'm like, I don't want it."
Right.
So I went to an internship at my church. And after that ended kind of poorly, I started seeing the corrupt side of church. I started seeing a lot of the nonsense that isn't really talked about. And this is a church I've gone to for about 14 years at the time.
Wow. Okay.
I grew up in this church pretty much. But once I started seeing the background, how tithe works, how people get paid, I started seeing, what's this really about? Because it says in Scripture, take care of the orphan, the widow, and the poor, and feed them. There's no food going out. No one's being fed. You have successful people and families coming here who go out to eat and spend about $60 every Sunday.
Right.
On buffets or whatever.
Right.
So they're obviously well off. What's going on here? And I started seeing more of a bigger picture. It's like, I don't understand. So there was a lot of questionings, and they didn't want to deal with me. They did not want to deal with my questions.
Really?
Yes, they were.
That's unfortunate.
This is opposition. This is blah blah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on? But we just spent $2 million on upgrading the building. What's going on?
Yeah.
And we just spent another $250,000 buying a Spanish building for the Spanish ministry. Yeah, we're reaching out more, but for what?
Right.
For bigger pockets? Like,
Right.
what's the point? What's going on here? Why is tithe always forced and you have 10 minutes for it out of your segmented time?
Right.
Instead of just having a place where, hey, be accountable and tithe on your own behalf.
Right. As the Lord leads you.
Exactly. And then on times where we're having a building update, we have double tithe.
Right.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
So
that's shady.
But I still love the Father. It's just a lot of American church compared to Chinese church, compared to Japanese church, compared to Indian church. Completely huge dynamic shift. Their faith is stronger than Americans. You know?
I think it's interesting to see how COVID shaken. But we'll get
but you see whole different situation.
It's like peeled back a lot.
Yeah.
I like that. You can see a lot more of what's underneath the hood. You're like, oh, okay, all right. But anyways, sorry. This is great.
And then after the church stuff, I was like, you know what? My time spent here was well. My coordinator there, Gerald Scarum, I love this man to death, was the only person fighting for me.
Wow.
And he was alongside me and was like, yes, you are asking the right questions. But then we both left at the same time after that, ironically, after the year ended. Moving forward, I didn't know what to do now. I was actually going to go to BSSM, Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry in Redding, California.
Yep.
These are Jesus Culture. This is Bethel School.
They do all the Bethel music,
Yes,
all that stuff.
correct.
Yep.
And they are in Redding, California. And then Kathy Valentin, Chris Valentin's wife.
I know who Chris Valentin is because he was part of the Toronto, or Kansas City.
I think one of those two.
Yep.
He's great. I love some of his stuff. His wife personally contacted me and said, as I was looking at your application, God specifically told me to deny your acceptance to Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry. And I was like, I have friends going here. And we were going to go. And I had already had an apartment, blah, blah, this or that. And to get the wife of someone I look up to personally tell me, in her own words, God has told me that you should not come here.
Wow.
I was like, okay, thank you so much for that direction. But I was dismayed. I was like, what the crap?
Yeah.
What do I do again?
Yeah.
So then comes the Honor Academy.
Okay.
The Honor Academy was a place in Tyler, Texas, 1 hour east of Dallas.
Yeah.
And they did something called Acquire the Fire.
Okay.
Acquire the Fire was well known throughout the continental U.S. Youth pastors would get called and a lot of stuff there. I spent 3 years of my life at the Honor Academy. That's where I learned graphic design from scratch.
Oh, wow.
Because
Okay.
I was very interested in the marketing department. And the marketing department says, show us that you want to do this. I went and got a copy of Illustrator.
Okay.
And got a copy of Photoshop, and I started just learning every single
YouTube
tutorial.
Wow.
And in 2 months, I had gone from knowing nothing to being mediocre. But they didn't care. They saw the determination, and they accepted me into there.
Oh, that's awesome.
The Honor Academy had a lot of horrible things about it, and it had more good than it did not.
Okay. That's any human institution.
I'm sorry?
Right? Isn't that any human institution?
Sorry. Yes.
Right?
Most,
like
yes.
when we're talking about churches, when
Yes.
we're talking about like the college I went to was a Christian college, there was a lot of bad stuff there.
It's the human condition.
Yeah.
People are corrupt, and there's a lot of nonsense in humans that unfortunately people choose to accept into their lives, and there's a lot with the spirit and things that people bring in. It's whatever.
Yeah.
I guess. But yeah, it's the human condition. It's not perfect and it's icky, but the goodness is the only good thing we have about us is the Father and His Spirit that created us. It says so. Our best is as dirty rags,
right,
in Scripture,
right.
So, but yeah, the Honor Academy was, and there's been a lot of salty people who left the Honor Academy because they didn't like it wasn't strict by any means, but it was guided.
Right.
By earnest people who wanted good for youth. but these youth came from, and you have youth that come here. Oh, my dad paid for all of the internship. He wants me here because it's Christian boot camp.
Right.
Not the case. But then you have kids who fundraised to get here and paid the $14,000 or $7,000 to get here, and they're living their best life here. Mm-hmm. So you have all kinds of people still addicted to drugs, kids addicted to drugs, kids who are completely confused about life. They don't know what they are. They don't know who they are. Kids with no parents, kids with parents, all kinds of people.
It's a whole
smorgasbord of people. And a lot of people left there very sour and told the media, and the media painted the Honor Academy as a cult. They painted the Honor Academy as a horrific boot camp, where it was not the case at all. So there's a lot. If you look up the Honor Academy, you will see a lot of that more than the good.
The negative.
And I am an example. Me, my wife, and about 30 people I know are a handful of examples of what the best thing about the Honor Academy was. It taught me so much, and it got me connections all over the world. I have a friend who I can truthfully rely on every single state in the United States.
Wow.
I have friends in Japan, India, Germany, Australia, and Switzerland because of the Honor Academy.
Wow. And it opened you up to the world.
Exactly. And if you mention the Honor Academy, you are instantly family.
Oh, interesting.
I know what you've been through.
Yeah.
I know where you were at. I know who you are in your heart. But not everyone. A lot of people walked away, unfortunately, and it's just a result of them not really being true, I guess. I don't know. There's all kinds of things.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot that can get... Yeah.
Yes. In my second year at the Honor Academy, I met my now wife, Anna.
Okay.
And if it wasn't for the Honor Academy, if it wasn't for Miss Valentin telling me not to go to BSSM, I would not have met Anna.
Oh, wow.
So that's where we met. We stayed there a third year, and we led a prayer ministry where we would go into a prayer room for 20 hours a week and just pursue the Father.
Wow.
Be alone, no distractions.
20 hours a week. So what is that? 3 days?
4 hours a week. 4 hours a day.
Wow. For 5 days.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
And we would just be in there.
Just praying.
Worship music, just praying, reading, drawing, whatever. Just alone. Beautiful alone time with the Father. No distractions, no responsibilities.
Yeah. People don't do that.
No.
That's unheard of.
Yeah, and I learned a lot. I have a prophetic calling, so I got a lot of prophetic amplitude, so I got to really practice and hone in on what I could communicate with the Father on. And it was really, really healthy for me and really nice.
Just a space for that.
Yeah.
To allow you to grow in those things.
And be amongst brothers and sisters who
are focused on the same thing.
Also there, and be able to encourage each other and be like, whoa, I saw this. What do you guys think? It's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Let's talk about it.
Can feedback and good feedback allows you to understand if it's creative or if it's God.
Exactly. Like, hey, God told me I'm gonna marry this person. Okay. No, that's just your pubescence coming through,
right?
Or you're blossoming
hormones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's just calm down there a bit, bud.
For the Honor Academy, is it a 1 year program, a 2 year program?
It's technically a 1 year program, but you could stay as long as you want.
Okay. You stay there 3 years.
I stayed there 3 years because I loved the mission that they were about, but I did not love the way they were going about it. There was a lot of what I now believe to be flaws, which no place is perfect, but there was a lot of flaws in there financially and just ethically that I was like, this should have been handled a lot better.
Yeah.
But yeah, after the third year, the first year I had our main guy, kind of the principal, I'll call him, was David Haas. Amazing man of God. Very full of integrity, full of honor. Great guy. Unfortunately, the following 2 years were a crapshoot, and because he left. After 17 years of David Haas's life,
he left.
On my first year, on my intern year, he said, I think my time here is done.
Wow.
And so you then saw the next 2 years as the final 2 years of the Honor Academy, because people did not realize how much David Haas did for the Honor Academy. And so the following 2 years, I saw the last year of the last year of the good of the Honor Academy. And then I saw the last 2 years of the falling of the Honor Academy.
Oh, wow.
So I was there to the bitter end. Me and 300 other interns had to go home because we could no longer serve.
Wow.
It was brutal.
Wow.
Yeah, it sucked. But it was, the things I remember about the Honor Academy, it holds a very special place in my heart that I will never forget. And if I ever have the finances, would love to start it up again.
Really?
With a more, not modern, but a more spirit, not even spirit, a more biblically based safe spot for troubled teens, for teens looking for something. That's what I want,
Yeah.
But, they had a beautiful 80 to 100 acres of property.
Wow.
Huge campus, A lot of stuff was run down, and the dorms, 6 people to a dorm.
Oh,
that
wow.
was, as big as this.
Oh, yeah. So it was a little tight.
Yeah, it was tight, but you got really close with your brothers.
Yeah.
And with no dating allowed. You had a group of people that you would call your brother core. So it was led by a second year.
Okay.
And then that second year was responsible for these 10 or 8 men.
So it was like discipleship in a way,
Exactly.
too. Yeah,
and then a brother core advisor, is what they called it, had a sister core advisor.
Okay.
So then every men group was paired with a women's group, and you were to treat each other as sister and brothers. How to respect the other gender, how to respect
as a human,
not as a sex object.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Especially with horny teenagers going there, or
Right.
young adults.
Yeah.
It shows you like, hey, this woman is not just for sex. This
Right.
woman is not just to pleasure you, cook for you, or work for you.
Right.
She is not your other half. She is another complete woman of God. And that's what I learned, a big thing. It's like, it's not 50-50 become 100 in a marriage.
Right.
It's 100 and 100
right.
come together, shoulder to shoulder, to pursue the Father in a group. And I love Ben Shapiro. Something he said that's really stood out to me was, if you don't want kids, don't get married. The only point biblically and, scripturally and everything is for marriage to have kids.
Yeah, for the healthy way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if not, just stay bachelor, stay with your partner, but don't get married. Don't spend the 10, 5,000. Granted, we only spent 3,000 on our wedding.
Right.
But don't spend that money. Don't do it.
That's interesting.
And
yeah.
I was like, that makes sense. Like, great. And we have kids. Like, we're doing. But granted, not to say that Ben Shapiro is the end all be all.
Right.
But you just gave me a good perspective on that. It's like, he's right.
I've heard that. I think I've heard that. I listened to some Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
I haven't as much lately, but
sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. So after the third year, it financially collapsed. People did not want to donate anymore to the film industry.
Right.
They could.
Do you think it was because the leader was gone, the vision was gone?
No. Leadership got all kinds of wacky.
Oh, okay.
There's a person who took over that other leaders in the ministry did not respect and follow because they knew that he was not sound.
Gotcha.
So there was something sketchy about that. And so I decided to stay, not for him, but for my peers. Be like, can we work this out?
Right.
But every leader left.
Wow.
By the end of it, there was only three leaders on campus versus, I think, like the 40 that were originally there.
Wow.
Because everyone left with David Haas because they believed and they loved his integrity and his leadership so much. It was tragic.
Yeah.
Imagine 300 kids dedicated to serving. Just, all right, get out of here.
Yeah.
You can't stay on this campus anymore.
That's unfortunate.
It sucks.
Yeah.
And then I was like, God, again, where do I go? What the crap?
Right.
And I was So at the time, Anna was in Houston with a friend because she left the Honor Academy early, and I was on campus until the very bitter end to see what I could do.
Yep.
But then it was like, I'm like, okay, Anna, I guess I'm gonna come pick you up, and then we'll go back home to South Texas. It's a 4-hour drive. On the drive, God was like, all of a sudden, he finally gave me an answer. Go with your mom to Indiana.
Oh,
I
wow.
was like, what? My mom's moving to Indiana? And sure enough, I called my mom. It's like, hey, I'm leaving the Honor Academy. I'm coming back home. And she told me, like, no, I'm not going to be there anymore. I'm like, wait, what? Why? And she told me, I'm moving to Indiana with your uncle and aunt. And my aunt and uncle have been here since the 90s.
Oh, wow.
So
Here in Goshen?
Yeah, they've just been working factory jobs or whatever, making it work. And so she, I come from a divorce home when I was 15. They divorced, and my mom was just done with South Texas. It's like, there's nothing for me here. I want to be with my brother and sister.
Right.
The day I left the Honor Academy was the day my mom was driving up.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then you just went right with her.
So I went, stayed the night with Anna and her friend and her parents. And the next day, my mom showed up. And I followed her in my car all the way up here to Indiana.
Wow.
That's how I ended
You're
up.
in Goshen?
Yeah. Well, in Elkhart, Goshen
yeah.
area.
Yeah.
I had no place to go, knew absolutely no one. And I was like, okay, God, I'm here. What do I do? 3 days in, I was just looking on Indeed for graphic design because that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Marketing. And I found a job ad for Carved, the cell phone company.
Yeah. They made the cell phone cases.
Exactly. And
yeah. Who ran that?
John Weber and Grant Sassaman.
Okay.
Yes. Grant and John were partners who originally started the idea over a lunch, and then it grew from there. And Alex Gorsuch was their first employee.
Oh, wow.
Who's still working there today.
Wow.
But unfortunately, John and Grant had a disagreement in 2015, I want to say. And so, unfortunately, Grant is no longer there, but John is still running the company.
Wow.
And I sent in my resume and immediately got a call back from John. And he's like, hey, we'd love for you to come in. Grant is the one that interviews me, though. And I say, hey, I'm this and that. And then years later, I come to find out I'm really good friends with Grant still. And he said, we were so impressed by your resume that we already were going to hire you regardless. Because it fit the vibe, I guess.
Their culture.
The energy that they have. And I was like, oh, well, that's cool.
That's awesome.
And I worked there. But at the time, I was a very sour person because
you just went through this whole thing, right?
Yeah,
and you saw one whole year of this falling apart. You were at the church.
It was tragic. And the church too. It's just like I was just very bitter, but also very sour and very prideful. So unfortunately, after a year and a half, I was actually let go from Carved.
Wow.
Even though I loved working there, but if I was seeing myself back then, I would literally kick myself in the peen because I was like, you are acting like a child.
Yeah.
This is what you need to do,
Yeah.
And granted, I'm here now to say that, but at the time I thought I was the bee's knees.
Right.
It's like, nah, dude, you're full of crap.
Yeah. You don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like freaking 23-year-old with hair, get out of here. And at the time, so I came here, got a job. And I was like, crap, what do I do? I want Anna here. I want to be with Anna. I love this woman. We didn't have any money, though. So I stayed with my uncle for 2 months, saving up everything I got from Carved. And then I was able to finally find an apartment. And I got the apartment. And I think 3 days later, I picked up Anna from the airport, came home, prayed with some friends that were waiting with us. And we considered it an elopement. So we eloped.
Oh, that's cool.
Because we had absolutely no money, but we knew we wanted to stay together in the sight of the Father.
Yeah.
Do it right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No worries.
Based on what it was.
So it was a spiritual union.
Yeah, because we didn't, sure, there's sex before marriage. It happens all the time now. Do I agree with it? No. I know what ties and bonds come with that.
Right.
As a result of
soul ties.
Exactly.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it's painful for either party to go through that. So, but we wanted to do it right. So it wasn't until 3 years later that we finally did a traditional ceremony where we spent $3,000 because we did not want to spend too much on it because we're like, we've already done it. We're very happy.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's just the way it was. At the time, no one knew we were pregnant. So as we got married, we also announced that we were pregnant.
The 3 years later? Yeah.
At
their
their ceremony.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super cool.
And it was cool the way we did it because I had to I love carpentry. I love woodworking. I love all that kind of stuff. So I bought a little piñata because I'm Mexican. And I asked my mom, hey, Mom, come up with me. And I had my axe. So instead of a bat or whatever,
right.
I used an axe to absolutely obliterate this little llama piñata. Like, absolutely desiccate.
Yeah.
And, she's like, I don't know what's going on. Why am I here?
Right. This is your way.
Like, this is a thing.
Yeah.
And then out of the piñata, I put a pacifier in there. I grabbed it and like, hey, this is yours. She's like, wait, what? Yeah, and just lifted it up. She's like, yeah, we're pregnant. And we had been hiding it from everyone. No one knew.
Yeah.
Not a single person.
Oh, that's super cool.
It was cool.
That's unique, man. That's so unique.
Guess, yeah.
That's so cool.
And through the years, after I worked at Carved, I had, in the last, I guess, 9 years that I've lived here, I've had 5 different jobs.
Wow.
Or 6 different jobs.
Wow. So carved,
heartfelt creations.
Okay.
I got to travel around the country in a van selling
it's like
scrapbooking materials to old ladies.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with that.
Okay. I then
started by like 2 ex-Amish, right?
Yes. Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Worked as a tailor, as a trouser tailor with Kevin Cook, so I know how to make really expensive pants. Then I worked at Janus Motorcycles.
No way.
Yeah,
okay.
Working as their...
I just had a guy on who does their fabrication.
Oh, nice.
Colin Gruntman.
I know Colin.
Yeah.
I know Colin very well.
Yeah, he was just on the podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I worked at Janus.
Okay.
And I met Devin Beek, who is one of my very good friends, and he's actually a business mentor of mine.
Devin's awesome.
Devin is phenomenal.
And Scott's great too. Yeah. Scott? Not Scott. Who's the other engineer? Richard. What's his last name?
Worsham.
Yeah. Why I think Scott? Yeah,
Like,
Richard.
I don't know
Who's Scott? Yeah, Richard's awesome too. So.
And then after Janus, I then worked at Closet Craft.
Okay, I don't know that.
Is across the tracks here. Okay. It's owned by a Puerto Rican.
Is it like right next to? Is it across the street from the lawnmower place?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
that red building.
Yes.
Yeah, I know exactly.
That is Closet Craft.
Because I know Ian, a friend of mine, Ian does Robert's Auto Care, which is in the same.
Oh, I know Ian.
Yeah, Ian's awesome.
He's an amazing man of God.
Yeah, he is great, and he knows he saved me so much money.
I know. Yeah.
Same he's the homie.
He's my mechanic.
I want to have him on the podcast too. He's my
Right on.
But yeah, so it's that building right next to it.
Yes, yeah. I worked there, and I learned in every single job I had. I learned so much about what a boss looks like, what a leader looks like, and what all kinds of stuff that I liked and did not like in the work environment, and how I wanted to make it. And the reason I had so many is because I got anxiety. God was always telling me, you're not created for this. There's more. I want you to do more. And I was like, oh, you're right. Like, I'm a creator. I like creating. I like working with my hands, and none of these jobs fulfilled that. But also, I didn't like the dynamic that was created, the 9-to-5 stuff.
Yeah.
And this is my hot take on that. I observed the way that the Father told Adam the very first thing, this is your work. Tend the garden. Name the animals. And have dominion over them.
Yeah.
So what does that tell me? You showed me your lovely start. And you know the process. There's a lot of work. You break the ground. You do all this.
Right.
Right? And there's a season of time where you're just really working.
Right.
Really, doing it and being fruitful with the time you're given. And then, if you notice, in gardening, it's just managing.
Right.
Watering. But what? Takes you 5 minutes to go out there, look at it, water it, make sure it's fine, go back in, and do whatever you want. And that's the kind of work dynamic that
and then there's work harvesting it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then starting over, or going on to the next thing, bigger and better.
Yeah. Because you get one seed turns into hundreds of seeds.
Exactly.
Right. And now you have to plant hundreds of seeds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that dynamic is something I'm replicating in my life. How can we go back to Genesis where the origin is so simple and it's right in front of our faces, but we're adding so much complexity to it? So take something where you work years to master a craft, a trade, something you're doing, learn it, master it, be really good at it, And then all you have to do is water it.
Yeah. Keep it going.
Keep going, and then you'll reap the reward, which is a passive financial stability. And I've been mimicking that business model now for the last year, and it's really shifted a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety away from me.
Yeah.
Because it's just like,
you're not sowing seeds all day long.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you shouldn't.
and that's not your whole job.
And you're doing it for someone else if you are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
they sowed seeds.
Yeah.
Now all you're doing is sowing the seeds, and they're managing
exactly.
it. Yeah. That's I'm in sales.
Yeah.
And that's that analogy of sowing seeds, managing it, and then reaping the rewards, that correlates so well, because it's all about, I can contact someone, and then you don't want to contact them every single day, but it's getting in front of them. They may not be ready, but they'll be ready in 3 years.
Yeah.
And they'll remember me.
Yes.
And then 3 years later, I have it. I've been here for 5 years, and people all the time come back to me like, hey, let's talk.
Yes.
You know, and I've done all that work to sow those seeds.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Yeah.
So it's really helped a lot. And I try to, right now my mission is, anyone who's an entrepreneur wants to be, I want them to reach out to me, and I want to help them, not financially, because I can't, barely trying to finance myself, but it's terrifying. But if you get it done, you're going to get it done right. And it's that human condition of, when your back's against the wall and it's do or die,
what do you do?
What do you do? But also, humans are interesting, because that is when they turn the most brave, the most aware, and it's their reactions, a lot of their natural reactions take over. You know, like, you've heard stories of children trapped, and then mom gets superhuman and lifts a boulder or moves a car. It's a real phenomenon.
In The Art of War. That's what they say. If you want to, one of the tenets of Art of War is, like, if you know you're going to die, put yourself in a situation where there's no way you can flee.
Right.
And you may have a chance to win.
Yeah.
Because in that scenario, even if you're surrounded and you're out multiplied, they know that they're going to die or they have to move forward.
Yeah.
And they move forward.
Exactly.
You know? So it's such a...
And that's what I'm telling people. It's like, if you're too comfortable, you're making $30, $40 an hour at a factory,
right,
but you're miserable and you see no end to it, what is at the point money?
Right.
When, let's say you have it, and, you know, you seem like someone like me, we're same age, who played Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
And in Grand Theft Auto, you get to the point where just playing, you're roaming around, and then you find out, wait, I can use cheats?
Yeah.
I can use cheat codes?
Yeah.
But then, what's the point of the story?
Yeah.
What's the point of earning or unlocking these other weapons? What's the point?
Because you have them.
You already have them. What's the point?
Right.
And then you get bored.
Right.
What's the point when you have everything?
Right.
And I enjoy the grind of creativity, that I have to consistently be creative in new recipes, in new things to sell, to keep going. Because if I'm just chilling, you know, for years doing nothing, you decompose your brain, and you're no longer, you're looking for your drugs. That's why you see all these billionaires and millionaires doing drugs, doing very sketchy, very horrible things. Right. And because they're tired of life. They're tired of life. They've lost that.
They've done it all.
They've done that. They've lost that will to
Why
work.
Why is there an island? You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, I know. I'm
And
picking up what you're putting
why
there.
are people getting citizenships in Greece where that is not illegal?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Specifically, some celebrities like Tom Hanks, who got a citizenship randomly in Greece. Very interesting.
Yeah.
But I know all about that, yes.
That's so, I don't know the Tom Hanks stuff. I've heard a little bit, maybe.
Well, look at his Instagram.
Yeah. Is it the socks? I've heard about the socks.
Stuff. Well, it's not even the socks. It's numbers within his pictures.
Really?
There's hidden...
Do you believe in numerology?
I don't know.
Like,
maybe not the term, but...
Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll get back to that. I think this is something we made because we haven't finished the.
Sorry,
I love this.
I
love this.
I apologize.
Yeah.
So in between all that, starting a business in 2019, I decided to start selling guacamole because Caleb Ganger and a lot of other people kept harassing me. Hey, Johan, when are you gonna sell your guac? Yeah. I'm like, what's so special about my guac? So two people in particular, Ethan Tobias
Yes.
and Caleb Ganger.
I know Ethan. I go way back with Ethan.
Yeah, he's
and
great.
Caleb.
Yeah, they're great.
They're wonderful people.
They kept harassing me. You need to sell this stuff. I'm like, no one's gonna buy it. Granted, it's my self-esteem thing. Like,
Right.
Who's gonna buy this? Like, get out of here. All of a sudden, in May of 2018, God's tugging on my heart. Working at Kevin at the moment, being a tailor, he starts tugging on my heart. Hey, there's more to you than this. I was like, okay. And at the time, tailor is something I could see myself doing. I was like, I enjoy this. It's a mixture of math and anatomy, something I enjoy. And all of a sudden, he's like, there's more to this. I was like, okay. So I started doing some trials. I have a select group of 35 people called the Founders. These Founders have a permanent discount on my guac for life.
Oh, no way.
Because every single week, I would put out an order in my personal, or on a very private group called the Founders, where I would say, hey, you order my guac, you pay for full price, and you tell me how it goes every single week. They were my feedback. So for 3 months, I perfected traditional.
Oh, wow.
From the very first batch of traditional to 3 months later, every single weekend, these people would pay for non-final products.
Wow.
And as a thanks for those 3, 4, 5 months, I made them Founders.
And now they have that discount.
And now whoever is on that page always gets a discount.
That's awesome.
A permanent, very, very bountiful discount.
That's awesome.
And they are what really helped me perfect the traditional recipe, which everyone loves.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Thank you so much.
It's so fantastic.
And moving forward, I then, in September of that year, told Kevin, I am leaving this trade because God has something for me. My wife, I had a 1-year-old, 1.5-year-old at the time, Finley, and my wife was pregnant with our second.
Oh, wow.
So
so you're leaving your stable income.
Someone quits their stable income
Yeah.
to pursue selling guacamole for a living. Madman
Yeah.
is what they called me.
Yeah.
But that's why I brought up the do or die. Because as a man who is the breadwinner in this sense, provides for his family, now has no stable income. I put my ass to a chair and saw 40 hours of SurfSafe certification videos so I can have a SurfSafe license. Got the LLCs, got everything so that I could sell guacamole to make my first sale on February 2019, February 2nd at 8:33 in the morning.
Wow.
I remember it because it was my first sale of
Wow. Was it at the farmer's market?
Yeah, and
Okay.
this was when I was not doing samples. So this very brave woman decided to buy $5 guac at my booth
And
without never even trying it.
Wow.
And that was a huge blessing to me, and that's why I remember that.
Wow.
I'm sad to say I do not remember who it was.
Yeah.
But 3 years later, I am still doing guac, but as we talked before we started this, I am just baffled as to how I can push it forward because I'm struggling.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I'm struggling. I'm looking into other alternatives and other means to provide for my family.
Yeah.
And people have asked, hey, are you going to open up a restaurant? We've tried your food. It's amazing.
Right.
Hey, are you going to do a food truck? Blah, blah, this or that.
Right.
And after I looked at it, no, I don't want to. It takes too much time.
Yeah.
It takes too much time away from what I'm already doing. And this is dumb, but you eat at Jimmy John's.
Yeah, I do.
There is
I do eat at Jimmy
there
John's.
is a story posted at every Jimmy John's, I think, about a fisherman and a businessman. Do you know this story?
No.
So I'm just going to paraphrase it. The point is the businessman goes up to the fisherman, and the fisherman's fishing, and he's really good at it. And the businessman's like, hey, by the end of 3 years or 5 or even 7, you could be making millions of dollars doing this fisherman by hiring out, doing this, doing all that. And the point of it, the fisherman's like, why would I want to do that? And the businessman's like, oh, so you can hang out with your friends. You don't have to worry about money anymore. You could go out to eat with them, have a beer, sing. He's like, I'm already doing that now. I'm already, going to my friend's house, having a beer, hanging out with them. I don't worry about money because I eat fish. My family's provided for. I have a home.
Right.
So you're telling me to work harder to get the same thing I already have.
Right.
And that story is just, for me,
that's what if you would start a business, you'd be working harder.
Exactly.
To do what you're already doing.
Yeah, but eventually, you'd work hard, but then eventually you get to the same spot, but now with loads of money.
Right.
But if you're already doing that now,
that's the cheat codes.
Like, hey, yeah, exactly. And then what happens?
Yeah.
And a lot of recently, what I've found is we're so rushed in the society, in America specifically.
Mm-hmm.
We're so rushed.
You have to have your millions by 22.
Or something.
Right.
Or you're seeing TikTok kids, just smile and they're getting millions of followers and ads and sponsorships. Yeah. It's like, okay.
That's not sustainable, though.
It's not. And it's also their life. And,
yeah, what's the consequences?
Exactly. And, people are like, oh, well, I don't want to have to work, blah, blah. Okay, look at your natural giftings. What are you doing with that? Why aren't you doing that? And it's funny because I'm 30. My wife is 30. But we picked up what we're calling hobbies to money. So we're making a hobby or something we enjoy and that's naturally inside of us, and we want to make it work. But we're doing hobbies that you normally see retired old men and women do. She is knitting, macrameing, and crocheting. Beautiful, amazing, intricate stuff. And I'm a carpenter.
Yeah.
And these are two things you usually see the elderly do after they're retired.
Yeah.
But I'm 30 and doing it.
Yeah.
I work 8 hours a week with guac.
And then you just have fun doing your hobbies.
I'm working on a trade to then provide for my family.
That's cool.
But I'm not just sitting around playing video games or doing whatever, which a lot of these kids nowadays are being influenced by Twitch streamers.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, these aren't gifted individuals.
They're good at entertaining.
You're right.
Right.
But the problem would be is they're encouraging them
to continue down that path.
To then do that path. And for them, there's no do or die. Like, I either want to be a Twitch streamer like this guy, or I don't want anything else.
Right.
Like, they're saying it's the only option. And I don't know. That's a whole different thing.
It's interesting, too, with Twitch, because I watch some Twitch.
Sure.
Not a ton, but I've seen rise and fall of stars there, too, and they have like almost worse mental health problems.
Oh, absolutely.
After they've gone through that,
But kids are thinking like it's okay to rage.
Right.
It's okay to trash talk people, like Felix calling people racial slurs.
Right.
It's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And these kids are like sponges. Instead of learning their craft, learning something, they're watching this.
They're the ones watching it.
Exactly.
Yeah, 50,000 kids.
And they're watching 30 and 35-year-olds do this like every day.
Immature, yeah.
Exactly. And I love video games. I grew up with video games. Nothing against them.
We're going to talk about that.
But there's a balance. There is a huge healthy balance, and a perfect example of that is someone's currently living with me who's a very dear friend of mine, but he spent the last 3 years doing nothing but playing video games due to depression and due to wanting to start a Twitch career or something with his friends. And he got so overweight that he had to get spinal surgery.
Oh, my word.
Because he was sitting down for extended periods of time on unhealthy chairs.
Oh, wow.
That he has now lost all feeling in one of his legs and cannot drive.
Wow.
And it was the most grueling year of his life due to the surgery and the recovery.
Wow.
And it's just like, this is an example of what it can do when it's an unhealthy balance.
Yeah. Where that's all you do is
And then you have the people who are extremely strict and be like, no, video games are this and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, they're fun, they're leisure. Especially for me, I have a hard time falling asleep.
Yeah.
Very hard time. And I don't take melatonin. I don't take any of that. Some people do,
Yeah.
I just personally don't want to.
Okay.
And
same, I don't take melatonin either.
And but what I do is I watch mind-numbing YouTube videos to calm my brain down because it's so hyperactive. Yeah. And I will usually spend about 20 minutes before I go to bed. But my wife, she lays down, all right, good night, babe. Yeah. 30 seconds later, I'm like,
How'd that work?
The will to sleep.
I'm like your wife.
Are you
I
really?
hit the ground. The problem is this: I play video games before I go to bed, and then I can't turn my brain off because I am just like in it.
Yeah.
Because like video games are like cocaine, from what I've heard. That's the things that the way that it stimulates your brain.
It's addictive.
It's the same. You're like, I'm in, and I play games. I play Rust. I don't know if you're familiar.
I know Rust. I know Rust very well.
Yeah, I am. That's the game that game gets you. It's such a good game, dude.
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
I watch. Oh my gosh, it starts with a W.
Wellen. Yeah.
He's great.
He's so great.
I love his storytelling.
He does a great.
Amazing.
And that's a lot of people get into Rust because of him, and his videos have like 2 million views because he talks about it, and you can create a story every time you play that game.
Yeah,
and it's a brand new game,
exactly.
and I love. And you can, I have like 2,000 hours into that game. It's not good.
And I play Guild Wars 2.
Okay.
Which is an MMO. Which is.
I played WoW growing up.
And, no, get out of here. Dude.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a balance to everything, and we want to teach that to our kids. Our kids cannot play video games.
You need to be outside for a little bit.
I'm
talking not for your kids, but for me, it's like for anyone. If you play video games, you need to also be outside, and you also need to do some physical activity.
Yes, a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. You can't, because those games suck you in, and then 12 hours is gone.
Yeah.
You're like, how did that happen?
Yes. And
you don't have anything from that.
Exactly.
You don't have anything tangible from that.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think that's so smart not to let your kids. I grew up not watching TV until my mom started working, and I was like 8.
Oh, really?
So there was a long period that TV was not introduced into my family.
Wow.
And I'm thankful for that. I mean, then it was introduced, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah. And then I started playing Get It.
I wish we had that, but then we don't. Where we live, we don't have the land to let our kids roam, and in today's society, it's just sketchy.
Oh yeah,
people being
horrible. Can't send them around the block, especially the street you're on specifically. Yeah. That's one of the worst streets.
Yeah, it's just and as kids though, you could run down the block around, and then you heard your mom, Mijo, and then you're like, oh crap, I gotta go. It's like, but at least there weren't.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just didn't happen, I guess. Something happened between the 90s.
I wasn't allowed to go outside because where we lived when I grew up was in Goshen, and there was a lot of meth. And this was so when I couldn't even ride around the one block I lived in. It'd probably be like 7th Street, like a little bit, or 14th or 15th, if you can imagine like that. And so I was allowed to go down to one side of the sidewalk and back, and then in our backyard. But even then, it was very,
Yeah. So it's tough, but we've let her play a little bit of Smash.
Okay.
Because that's what she's seen Mom and Papa play.
Yeah.
But she got really controlling. She got really.
I want to play. I want to play right now.
I want to play. Hey, Mama, I want to play Smash. Hey, I want to play Yoshi. I want to play Smash. Yeah. And we're like, okay.
Now we got to cut it off.
It's not the time yet. And she understands, and she knows that it's going to be a couple years before she can play again. And we try not to play in front of her.
Wow.
Because
Do you now? I think I know the answer to this question, but do you not let them even look at phones?
No, we actually don't. Yeah. No, they rarely look at phones at all.
Because I see, when you're out to eat, I'll see kids.
It's tragic.
Yeah.
It's tragic. And we talk to our kids like, hey, what do you think of the food? Like, hey, what do you think of the restaurant? And they answer, they're looking around.
They're observing.
Exactly. And then you see other kids just look at their phone while their parents are having an adult conversation. You're not inviting them in. You're not getting to know them. You're not learning about them. And it's just tragic. And my sister and her daughter, it's something that I hate. That she needs a phone to eat, and she'll bust it out when we're eating, and my kids get sucked in. I was like, there go our kids. It sucks. But we don't. They have zero phone time. We gave them broken phones that they can pretend to call Momo, which is grandma, or talk to each other. But that's the limit. Yeah. No, they don't have iPads. We don't have any of that. We'll let them draw on our tablets.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that's, she's artistic. She loves drawing, so that's something that's feeding into that.
Beautiful ways to do that on.
But no screen time, none of this, and it's, people compliment us on our kids. They're very well behaved. They're, they're not loud and horrifying and just losing their cool. And it's something we've worked on.
Yeah.
It
takes time to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a parent. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. You're sowing seeds right
Yeah,
now, and you're
yeah.
really putting in the work right now.
Exactly. Yeah. And so far, that's where I'm at. I guess. Wow, it took like an hour just to talk.
Yeah,
about.
I mean,
I'm sorry about that.
We're not done yet. I have a quick question because one of the things that I love about your stuff right now is your peanut butter.
Oh, yes.
So let's get into that real quick too, because how'd that iteration come? So you started doing guac.
Yes.
And that was your main focus at the farmer's market.
Correct. For a year, almost 2 years, a year and a half, I want to say.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, in my guac process, I started thinking of how to make it faster and better. I bought a $240 food processor.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I didn't just buy a $240 food processor just
to do guac.
Right. I need to make more with it. So I started playing around with it. I was like, okay, what else can I make? And on all the YouTube videos, one of them was constantly, you can make your own nut butter with a food processor. I was like, what? I don't need anything else? Let me see the ingredients. Wait, what? Just salt and peanuts? This is nonsense.
Yeah.
What sorcery is this?
Yeah.
So let me try it. I just, sure enough, chucked the peanuts in, threw a sprinkle of salt, and I was like, okay, it's just a powder. What's going on here? But then I kept going. I'm like, it's getting creamier. Oh.
So it processes it into.
That's it. That's all.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. And I was like, no, this is dumb.
Yeah, this is way too easy.
Kind of. There's roasting involved, and that's something I had to learn as well. And that's the more particular one. But yeah, it was. Just
so you would buy like fresh peanuts,
so
or like how?
I've bought both. I've bought both raw.
Okay, raw.
And
Yeah,
I've
that makes sense. Not fresh.
I've also bought roasted and raw. So I do some.
Because I'm only used to roasted. Like that's the world I know of peanuts.
You do not want to eat raw peanuts.
Yeah,
they are disgusting. They are horrible.
Are they green?
No.
No.
They are just not crunchy.
Okay.
They're mush.
Yeah.
They have the consistency of a bean.
Okay.
It's like eating a black bean.
Okay.
That's cooked. But it's peanuts.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You want crunchy.
Right.
But yeah, it just mushes and it's very bitter.
Oh, really?
Extremely bitter. Yeah.
Okay.
It's no good. But yeah, you roast them. And most of the times they roast them in shell. And that's why you open them and they're good.
Yeah.
But you cannot just pick a peanut, open out, and eat it.
It doesn't need
It's
it
horrible.
needs to be roasted.
Exactly.
So do you, with your peanut butter that you make now, is that just, is it roasted? Or, or do you roast it yourself?
Yeah.
You roast it yourself?
Some I do, but most of the time I buy it.
Okay.
It's when I do specialty flavors and stuff that I roast it because I want to control everything. But yeah, after that, I was like, oh, okay, I'll try it out. At the farmer's market, I'll just try it. No one's going to buy this. People can just buy their own peanut butter.
Did you start with almond butter?
I did.
Okay.
But no one bought it.
No one bought almond butter.
Here in Goshen, I don't know why, people do not like almond butter.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was bananas to me.
Well, it's because, you know why?
I don't know
why.
This
is my opinion.
Thank you so
that
much.
I came from just right now. That I made up right now.
Okay.
We don't have like a Trader Joe's. You know what I'm saying?
Now, but it's in South Bend.
It's in South Bend. That's when I hear someone talk about nut butter or almond butter, it's like Trader Joe's. They're talking about
Interesting.
It like I wonder if it's because that type of market is not around here. Because where else would you get almond butter? Probably Walmart or Kroger or something like that. But that's not.
It's a specialty thing.
And it's not something pushed. It's not something shown.
Yeah. Yeah. The story that someone told me was hummus in 2005 was irrelevant. No one knew about it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it became very popular. Now everyone's doing their own iteration of hummus.
Right.
And I've noticed this until the media, and this is a whole different conversation. Until the media tells you
that you have to think this way,
to think this way, you won't do it. And I've seen it in my guac. Oh, guac's a summer item. The media says.
Right.
No, it's not. Says
it's
an actual Mexican.
Yeah.
Me.
It's whenever you're craving it.
We eat it all year round on everything.
Yeah.
Oh, well, since the media told me, I'm only going to buy it in the summertime.
Really? Yeah.
Okay. I need to think of something else. Because the summertime, and that's why I took part-time jobs.
Oh, okay.
Because of that.
So your sales would go crazy in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they would absolutely decimate everywhere else.
Wow.
And it's just like, what are you guys doing? Like, do I need to show you recipes on how to make guac? Like, guac goes on everything. Or how to eat guac. Guac goes on everything.
Yeah.
It's not limited to summer items.
Yeah.
So, and same thing with the almond butter. It's like, you're right. It's not heard of. It's not known. People think it's expensive. I've worked really hard to get my pricing well. I know it's a higher end item. I am selling a higher end item.
Yeah, but you're also a farmer's market. Like, people going into a farmer's market aren't thinking cheap prices either.
Yeah.
They're not going, this is Walmart, you know.
Yeah, but I have the flavors and the specialty to show that. You try my nut butters, and you're like, oh, this is just another peanut butter. This guy's overcharging way too much.
No.
But then you put it in your mouth, you're like, I take it all back. I would like 3 of these. Thank you so much. You know, and I'm like, I'm very blessed. Thank you so much. You know, and that's why I offer samples. I'm like, I will not sell you a high-priced item like mine without making sure that you are 100% aware and comfortable buying this product.
Yeah. The worst thing you want to do, I at Aldi one time I bought this like fancy tomato sauce.
Oh yeah.
And I thought it was just gonna be like good tomato sauce. I didn't know what the words were on it, so
really?
that was probably my first mistake.
Okay.
It was so spicy.
Was it really?
And I made my, you know, it's typical spaghetti dinner. And
wow, you just chucked it in. You didn't even try it.
No,
wow.
I was like, I can't do this. This was not the right decision.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was a hard. You know, and I'm like, now I'm never going to try that again.
Yeah, something like that.
You can't really like go taste stuff at Aldi. You get in trouble.
Oh my gosh, that's so tragic.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you know, you're buying a $10 jar of peanut butter, which has a 2-year lifespan, but
2-year lifespan if you don't ever open it. Once you open it, it's gone.
I guess.
Speaking from experience, they go really fast.
Well, and I've asked my customers, what do you eat it with? You know, I'm always asking, hey, how do you eat it? And they will, most of the time, like, I can't. I just eat it with a spoon. Yeah,
spoon. I put it on saltine crackers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I love that.
Right,
or bananas.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Oh, my gosh. Right. And that's the other thing.
Or I put in my oatmeal.
Yes,
in the morning.
That's the other. Well, you're a creative one, but a lot of people are like, what do you eat this with? I'm like, it's peanut butter. Why do you need me to teach you how to eat peanut butter?
You've been using it all your whole life.
And this is what's funny. I didn't have my first PB&J until I was 21.
Really?
Yes, because we Mexicans don't eat PB&Js.
Yeah.
We eat quesadillas.
Oh, yeah. Which are better.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Substantially. Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much. And then I grew up not eating it, and I have all these ideas. Oh, well, I eat my peanut butter with bananas, strawberries, apples, yogurt, parfaits, ice cream. I eat it with cottage cheese. I love cottage cheese with other stuff. I know it's very decisive, this cottage cheese fandom, but some people are like, no, it's just salt and pepper. I'm like, nah, add some fruit in there, add this or that. So, but I love it with my peanut butter, oatmeal, yogurt, everything. And then I'm having to tell people, because all they can think of is, oh, crackers, right? I'm like,
yeah, no, there's so much more.
That's like the grass.
Entry level.
You're not looking at all the sediment levels of deepness that this could go.
Yeah.
You're just looking at the very grass.
Yeah.
You know.
I've made like pad thai, and I've taken your spicy.
Yes.
And I threw it in.
Yes.
And stuff like that.
Yes.
It was like homemade pad thai, but that was.
Oh yeah, people don't.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, and so I'm having to tell people, it's like, this is how I use it, and it's gotten me to question: am I in the wrong market? Do people even want me here? You know, I will still provide for the people that have been such a huge blessing, providing and pouring into my life as far as finances go. But for everyone else, like, I don't know what to do for you guys. I've tried, and I get scowls, I get looks at the farmer's market. Yeah. And
are you familiar with plain culture?
I don't know what that is.
That's like the Amish culture. They call it plain.
Plain?
Yeah.
Like Plain?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a very new word that I've heard this past week that I never heard before.
I've never heard
But plain culture, and that culture permeates this area in a way. We live in Goshen, and two different cultures are always clashing.
Okay.
You know, always clashing. It's the very conservative Mennonite and the very liberal Goshen College, and it's clashing. But there's they're all from the same culture in a way too, because they're all Mennonite. It's so interesting. But I think plain culture, there's a reason why it's called plain culture.
Okay.
Like, we like our stuff plain.
Interesting. And you know? And that is very true. And the one thing I keep getting is, why don't you just make a normal peanut butter?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm like,
But who wants that?
Well, apparently people.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But
That's
then
true.
I'm like, you can just buy normal peanut butter everywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, you come here for the specialty stuff. I'll sell you a normal peanut butter.
Right. Have
And
you
I'll
made one?
I haven't,
Okay.
because it's just like, what, you want me to just add my amount of salts that I usually do? I guess that's a secret.
Yeah.
I'll put in the peanuts that I normally do. I'll add a specific oil that makes it taste a lot better. It's all healthy for you, though.
Yep.
And that's been another thing about my peanut butter. Every single one of my peanut butters, for the most part, has no chemicals or unnatural preservatives.
Yeah. You said just for the marshmallow for the
Here's the thing.
at one point.
So normally there's a brand called Puff.
Okay.
Puff makes marshmallows.
Yeah.
Everyone who makes s'mores knows them.
Right.
But they have blue dye, they have guar gum, and they have high fructose corn syrup in their marshmallows.
Yeah.
Things I personally do not like.
Right.
So then I found Marshmallow Fluff. Marshmallow Fluff is a brand, and they have 4 ingredients in their Marshmallow Fluff.
Oh, okay.
Corn syrup, you can't get away from it, but it's, corn syrup.
Yep.
Sugar, which, okay, sure.
That
in
makes
its
sense.
purest form, it's not a weird fancy glucose or sucrose or, whatever crose.
Right.
It just says pure sugar. Egg, okay,
Yep.
and vanilla.
Oh, wow.
I'm like,
That's 10 times better
pretty
than
good.
blue dye. And
Yeah, there's none of that. I'm like, I know all these ingredients.
Yeah.
They're not chemicals. They're not weird,
Yep.
So I decided I'm going to add this.
Mm.
And it is the sugariest that I have. But everything else is just naturally sweetened with honey
Wow. Yeah.
and other spices and stuff.
Yeah. It's
But,
fantastic.
Yeah, all my peanut butter, I can confidently go up to anyone, unless you're allergic, and say, you can eat this peanut butter without any regard for your health.
Wow.
Because it's just like, you're fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
As long as you're not allergic.
Wow.
You know?
It's so good. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm thinking about that. What's big in this community is Amish peanut butter.
And I made a healthy alternative to Amish peanut butter called Fluff Nut.
Really?
And it's been selling very decently, actually.
Yeah, that's really good.
But I know Amish peanut butter, and I tried it for the first time a month ago.
Yeah.
And I was horrified. One, with the ingredients list, and how peanuts was like the 6th ingredient in the list.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know, but in ingredients, the first one is usually the most,
Yeah.
and then it goes down to the least.
Yes.
And peanuts being the 6th, ahead of sugar, high fructose corn syrup,
Yep.
and I think carob root or something, taro. I don't know, some other weird sugar.
All sweeteners.
All sweeteners. I'm
Yeah.
like, bruh,
Yeah.
this is
It's
no
not good. Yeah. I don't know. I've gotten some stuff from Amish. Like, there's like an Amish store or like a little Amish place that you can go down the road, like as you're heading out towards Mishawaka.
Yeah.
Over by Basher, there's like little Amish places, and you read the ingredients list, and it's I got some like pickles, and like I'm not sure if they know what they're putting. You know what I mean? Like if they're putting this stuff in.
No, Amish cuisine and diets are atrocious.
Well, there's 100% that. Yeah.
It's
Um.
they just stay fit and amazing because
Because they don't
their work.
Some of them.
Oh, but the
Work.
guys you see, like they're like freaking oxes.
Yeah, and they bike everywhere.
Yeah.
That's the
Oh
other
my
thing
gosh.
they do. They are tanks. But yeah, so I'm part of this organization, and we work with a lot of different Amish. It's a ministry. I'm on the board, and we had some Amish cooks, and they put sugar in everything, just everything. They were making tacos.
And they just decided, let's add sugar.
That was one of the big things that they're putting, just
is
sugar.
wild.
And the executive director's like, guys, this is supposed to be a savory meal. That's not supposed to be sweet. It's supposed to be safe. That's what they add, sugar to everything.
That is insane.
So I don't know if that's anyways.
Well, and I've heard that sugar is as addictive as any
Cocaine.
other
Yeah,
drug.
it's addictive as cocaine.
It's horrific. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the way your brain.
Well, funny story about that. I had a very sweet Mennonite, old Mennonite woman invite us with her husband, very good friends of ours, to a dinner. They were doing fajitas.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, great, sure. You're cooking my people's food, I guess. Let's do it all.
No.
I'm always awkward about if I'm inviting, like, let's say Thai people, I'm not gonna do a Thai dish.
Yeah.
That's it. I just wouldn't. It's
Yeah.
like, what are they gonna think of me?
Yeah.
Or maybe I would. I'd be like, hey, judge me.
Yeah.
Please give me
Right.
feedback. And this lady does fajitas great. She serves us up. it's just me and my friend. This was like 7, 8 years ago, or maybe 10. And all of a sudden, I ask, do you mind if I cook my tortilla? I don't like it raw. And her jaw dropped. And sure enough, I go over to the stove and heat it up, come back, take my place. I'm like, okay, sweet. Thank you so much. And she's like, what do you mean raw? I'm like, this needs cooked.
Yeah.
This is not good.
Yeah.
And then she saw mine, and I gave her a piece, and she's like, oh my gosh.
This is 10 times better.
Yeah. I didn't know. I was like, wow. And then another story where I asked the lady, she was trying guac, and she's like, oh, I don't like avocados. I'm like, okay. And I always ask, why not? If it's a texture thing, they tell me, I always fire them. Oh, so you must not like cheesecake then. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You know, because I like being witty, but also petty.
Yeah.
I'm very petty.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, if you're not even going to try it, I'm going to mock you for it in a sense, in a very...
In a nice way, but
because
also...
I still have to make money for my family.
Right.
Yeah. But I generally like people still. Anyway, and I asked them, why do you like avocados? Oh, it was just very, very hard and like no flavor. I was like, what color was the skin when you ate it? Oh, it was green. It was really hard. I was like, you just ate the equivalent of a green banana. Very hard and horrible.
Right.
You needed to let it ripen.
Right.
And so I've been shown this. And
You're
like,
educating.
okay, what's going on? How do I need to be talking to people to try this?
Oh, that's so sad.
And more than sure enough, people who absolutely detest guacamole. One of my founders is a prime example, and we'll call him Joe. He was known throughout the lands for absolutely despising and loathing guac.
Really?
He was known. It's like, oh yeah, Joe. Yeah, no, that guy. He
doesn't
hates
like
it.
Yeah.
He tried mine. Can only eat mine.
Wow.
Loves my guac.
Your guac is phenomenal, bro.
And thank you so much.
Yeah.
It showed me like, okay, people need to see what real guac from a real Mexican looks like. And you're a testament to that. You know, because you've tried it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's different.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm trying, and that's been the biggest struggle around here. I do not know, because a lot of the restaurants I've tried talking to do not want to work with me, have no interest in ordering wholesale or on a daily basis for me. I can make guac and peanut butter whenever they want.
Yeah,
but they don't want to share sales, share win-win. They don't want to do any of that. So, and again, I don't know what it is. I really don't. It's my personality, my products, my pricing. I've asked feedback, and it's just rough. It's rough.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to plain culture.
Sorry. Yes.
I'm thinking about this. No, I think this answers some of the stuff. But the Mennonite culture here, there's a lot of good. But one of the things, if they don't like you, they'll never tell that to your face. It's they don't
like confrontation.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not the way that they deal with conflict is behind your back. They will never.
Oh, that's tragic.
They will never. That's the culture we live in, and it's something that I grew up in, and it's tough, right? Because I've felt the consequences from it. If you don't like me, it would be nice to tell that to my face.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
But you'll learn by other people telling you because they've told other people.
So gossip.
Yeah. It's very prevalent here. It's very prevalent here. So the directness that you bring is probably off-putting to them because they don't know.
Yeah.
Or the directness that you want, you will never get because they don't know how to give that directly to you.
Gotcha.
And so that's just there's a word that I forget what it's called, but it just sums it all up. What is this culture right now?
That's tragic. Yeah, man. And this is the first time I've heard about it.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. If that is the case, probably not all of it, but
you're right.
We don't know, right?
Yeah, you don't know.
There's so many people that go through that market, and there's so many people around here that there's any kind of, do I not meet the height requirement? Like, hey, he's too short. We're not working with him.
Yeah. Have you tried other farmers markets?
And that's the thing. I went to South Bend.
Okay.
And they did not like me.
Really?
I got complaint after complaint after complaint. He's too loud. He shouldn't be talking that loud. He's grabbing people from our booth, which I was never doing that.
What?
Yeah, it's like...
So they just felt encroached on.
Yeah, I was a little booth sharing half of it. I had a quarter of so my space they gave me was 4 foot by 4 foot little booth.
Yeah.
And there were people with 20 foot, 40 foot booths. And
is this the inside one?
Yeah.
Yeah, over by like IU-ish area.
Yeah. And I was there. I was like, hey, what's up? I'm selling my stuff. Let me sample you some, this and that. And people loved it. I had a following, and management and I could not get along.
Really?
And when they confronted me, like you were saying, the guy who had an issue with me could not look me in the eye.
Wow.
I was looking at him directly to speak like adults.
Right.
And he was just like always looking around.
Yeah.
I was like, bruh, just look at me in the eye.
Yeah, tell me why you don't like me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do it. And from my experience, it was just horrific management at the time. They had just let go of a manager who had been there for a long time, who was really the only reason I got in. And then they hired someone that there was a lot of conflict with, and I had to go. I was like, I can't be here.
Yeah.
And the South Bend market was generating some interest.
That's too bad, because I feel like South Bend. Yeah, go ahead.
But also their booth rental has not changed since 1914.
Oh, really?
And so if you're on the board, you have a lot of say. And the way that they made it sound is you can buy a permanent booth and it is 100% yours for I think like $12 grand.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, great, sure, over time that'll pay.
Yeah.
Great. Give it a year, it'll pay itself off, and then you can start seeing the profit. No problem. Oh, by the way, you still have to pay rent.
So you pay
for the booth,
and
then on top of that, you have to pay your rent consistently for being there.
Really?
Even though you own it.
That's
and then on top of that, they will charge you for not being there throughout the week.
Oh, really? So you have to be there every single day?
Not every day.
Or whenever they're open?
I think 3 days out of the week.
Wow.
And if you do not, you get charged, even though there's no one there. So you're basically showing up to an empty area, not to sell anything. And with a volatile product like guac, I can't be just throwing product out, having no one show up.
Oh, that's too bad.
So it's just weird. And
I know Mishawaka does one in the
outside.
summer. Yeah.
And so
have you gone to that one?
Every other farmer's market that I've seen does not have permanent booths, and they do not have inside. So my guac will struggle with that. But my peanut butter won't.
Okay.
So I've been transitioning more to peanut butter, and that's where concrete came in as well. Because I love the idea of making artisanal concrete furniture. And I was like, I could take this anywhere.
Like pots or plant stands. Oh, tables. Okay.
Tables.
You're showing me some of that stuff.
Yes. And
chairs as well. Benches and things?
Yes. This I'm saving more for Chicago, Detroit, and Indy. Very higher end areas.
Yeah.
Because based on what I've seen, people have money here, but they are not where I'm at.
Right.
And I don't know how to get to them.
Yeah.
Yet. But
that's so unfortunate.
It happens, man. And even the pottery I've shown, there's an obvious disinterest in, because I can just go buy a normal pot over here. Oh, but I'll pay $80 for an artisanal pot or mug that a local potter made.
But I won't.
Yeah, but I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, one of the things I love about the farmer's market, and when I want to get more towards, is knowing where my food comes from and paying for that. And that's something that Allison and I are focused on. Is like, at some point I'd like to do all my shopping, majority of my shopping, with local people.
Yeah, or even grow your own, like you were, you're starting.
Growing my own as well. And so I don't know if that's the emphasis of a lot of people here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if everyone's thinking that way.
Yeah.
So they may have money, but they're spending all their money at Walmart.
Or somewhere else, right? Yeah, like, and I mean, for me,
maybe Martin's, because they think that's like the bougie Walmart.
Oh, Myers is, I feel
Myers,
like.
yeah.
Yeah, and for me, it's just like, you have a guy who's taking his time and putting a lot of his week for you to have guac at the ready.
Yeah. Whenever
you want. How can I help you? How can I be of service to you? What do you want from me?
Yeah.
How else can I, And I know it doesn't fit into the farmer's market because it's not a food. It's a specialty healthy food. But a lot of the customers that I have gotten are because, hey, your product is the only thing I can eat because it has no chemicals, it has no preservatives, and everything on there is healthy for the human body.
Yeah.
And those are the customers I get all the time.
That's the right place.
It is.
That's the right place.
And I also get the mom who's like, I don't want to have to make guac for this get together.
Yeah.
Let's just go to the Mexican.
Yeah. I've done that. I had a party.
I know you have. And I'm like, oh, hey, Tiffin, what's up?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, dude, I got this party, like, what do you suggest? And I'm like, hey, let me hook you up,
But when you roll in with that, like, people aren't expecting that. They're like, okay, this is legit.
Well, I don't know. I mean, from your experience.
From the party, they're like, this is legit.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. It wins.
I always take my guac, but it's to families. And
right.
I don't go to parties because I have kids.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I've always wondered, it's like, what do people think when they see the Guac N Squat logo and they're like, what is that? Or, hey, where'd you get this?
Well, I'm over here like, you guys gotta try this. Because, I mean, I bought it. I want them to try it. And I'm like, everyone needs to try this.
Yeah. And
usually I don't have any left when I come home. So that's just how
why
it goes.
That's what people have learned. People are like, these two are for the party. This one's for me.
Yeah.
Because these two are going to be gone.
Yeah.
I'm like, fair
that
enough.
makes sense.
It's great. Yeah. But yeah, and I'm over here. we're not poor, but we're not rich.
Right.
We're comfortable, but also not. We're always striving for something else.
Right.
This year, I have a lot of projects, and sad to say that based on how this year goes, and by the end of May, I will have a definitive answer on whether I am staying in Goshen or possibly moving to start or continue my products somewhere more fruitful.
Right.
That'll have bigger success. And the only people I feel absolutely lost for are my current customers.
Yeah.
That I see every week.
Yeah.
That is the only people I will genuinely be absolutely sad because there's nothing I can do for you.
Yeah. What can you ship us peanut butter?
I can. Oh, peanut butter every day.
I know
day.
guac.
But guac,
I know guac
is unfortunately going to be something you can't because.
Can you like hide a recipe or something?
That's the thing. I can license my recipe to someone, and I can even do a commission-based business partnership with someone who wants to keep Guac N Squat going here and make a living from it.
Nice.
And they'll have to be respectable, honorable people.
Yeah.
Who can, be 100% full of integrity with it.
Yeah. And not cut costs,
not steal,
not cut corners,
not lie to me.
Yeah.
And I might have someone.
That's cool.
To continue that on for the people here.
Because you've built that customer base. You do have value here.
Yeah, and someone could make a living off this very comfortably. A single person or even a family. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But I also, my monthly expenses are $1,400 a month.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for food, bills, kids, everything. That's all I pay.
Phenomenal.
Because I live a very simple life. I don't have new cars. I don't own a home. I don't own land.
Yeah.
I don't have the fanciest phone. I don't buy new stuff. I buy a lot of what's that place? Plato's Closet.
Yeah.
I'm also staying in shape. I don't lose or gain weight extensively to have new clothes.
There you go.
I don't grow. I don't have to get haircuts because I'm bald.
Do you do most of your cooking?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
We do actually.
100% of it.
I think we go out once every 3 months.
Wow.
Or 2.
Wow.
Yeah. We don't go out at all.
Yeah.
Only on very special occasions.
Oh, wow.
Because we've learned how to make Mediterranean food. We've learned sushi. We've learned how to make authentic sushi.
Wow.
We've learned how to make sashimi. All kinds of beautiful stuff. All because my wife took the time to actually learn it and get the proper ingredients.
Yeah.
And so when we're craving authentic Indian tikka masala, we have Indian connections with mamas who have no English to give us authentic recipes.
No way.
Not from Pinterest. and
Oh,
get
man.
those recipes and be like, hey, this is how you do it. These are the herbs. This is how blah blah. And we're like, oh great, hey, we're eating Indian food.
Yeah, I get myself off Pinterest.
Oh no, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong
no,
with that.
it's not the same.
I'm not
though.
dogging on it.
It's
but
good, but it's better at the Indian place,
Exactly.
and I bet it would be better if I knew.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And my wife makes her own naan. We bake our own bread.
Oh, that's awesome.
She makes her own pita. All of it.
Wow.
Because she's taken the time
To learn that. That's awesome.
And the way we've spent our money is an investment in ourselves as far as tools. As a carpenter, I've bought all my tools instead of renting or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's something I'm going to teach my children. So and I buy, and this is my philosophy, buy it once so you don't have to buy it again. I'd rather buy the best of the best than buying something every year.
Yeah, that's not American at all. That's not American at all, man.
I've bought all my kitchen equipment for Guac N Squat. I've only bought once, and only one thing has broken down on me.
Wow.
So
Maybe you probably also look and wait until you can buy the right.
No,
are you
sir.
buying
with kitchen equipment in specific? There's a YouTube channel called America's Test Kitchen.
Okay.
They dog and destroy that equipment to get the best reviews.
Oh wow.
And to get the most accurate representation of what this is. Dollar value does not matter. There are things from OXO, one of the best kitchen brands, mind you, that have absolutely destroyed $200 and $300 equipment.
Wow.
Absolutely obliterated it.
Wow.
But then there's stuff like the Vitamix, which is hands down the best blender in the world.
Vitamix.
Vitamix is an I think it's $600 blender.
Wow.
Which will last you a lifetime.
Yeah, better than Ninja or any other stuff.
Oh yeah, not Ninjas.
Yeah, I know. I've bought them.
Ninja is a popular brand.
It is.
That is what I'll say.
Yeah. I've owned a couple Ninjas, and then
they break down.
Yeah.
But Vitamix and KitchenAid make very good blenders.
Yeah.
So any kitchen equipment inquiries you have, I'm your man.
Yeah.
I've already done all the research.
Yeah.
I know the best knives, the best bowls, the best blenders, the best food processors, the best cutting boards.
Oh wow.
The best fillet knives, the best bread knives. I know all of it.
Wow.
Because I spent my time.
I'm looking into that stuff.
And that's something I do. So with all my tools, I have spent a ridiculous amount of time
researching. Yeah, I do that for certain things with like technology. That's where probably my area is at. Well, do you have any plastics in your house? Are you big into like glassware and things like that?
So my wife is transitioning to a lot of glass. Sorry.
Yeah.
We have plastic Tupperware and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Stuff you can't get away from. But a lot of stuff we're transitioning to glass and metal.
Yeah.
We can't compost because when we've tried, we have raccoons and squirrels that absolutely decimate everything.
Yeah. I have the same. I have possum. I saw a possum the other day.
No, they're nasty.
Yeah.
Get them out of here.
Yeah, I know.
But God created them for a reason.
Yeah. North America's only marsupial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, or something, or well, they do something, and
Yeah.
this is another topic for another day. But I guess no, it's random. I don't know. I don't want to take more of your time.
No, dude, this is good.
We actually eat kosher.
Oh, really?
We're not Jewish,
But you guys,
but we observe Torah,
yeah,
which is the first 5 books of Scripture. Genesis, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, and we observe those.
do you do the feasts?
Yes, we actually just did Passover.
Yeah, our family celebrates the feast as well.
Nice.
All 7 of them. So,
Yes,
yeah.
and we have found great freedom in a lot of that. It's not legislative at all. It's not legalistic. It's very freeing. And so the biggest struggle I've had right now is observing Shabbat, which is every Saturday, not Sunday.
Yeah. At sundown.
Correct.
Yeah.
Friday sundown.
Friday
mind
sundown
you,
to Saturday
Saturday sundown.
Yeah.
And it is the hardest thing because my main current finances come from working on Shabbat.
Oh, interesting.
It sucks, but
Yeah.
I do it.
Could you do it a different day? I mean, even though it's not Torah.
And this is the cool thing. The home food vendors laws has just changed and are going to be applicable here in June. To the point where I might be able to sell from my home.
Oh, really?
And if I can do that, I will invest a lot of money into the front of my home to make it a clean, small little stop shop.
That would be so sick.
every day.
I was thinking about like vending machines. I don't know if I told you
Something
that.
like that,
That would be
sure.
so sick if
Yeah.
you could just have little vending machines. You could
Yeah.
get guacamole. Like,
And it would be presentable. It would be attractive,
Yeah.
clean, and I would, if you need some guac, you ring the doorbell, and I am right there
Right.
because it is my home.
yeah,
And so that would be a way out.
yeah,
That would be a way out. And but yeah, a lot of the things I found about kosher food, the way they were designed, kosher, especially fish. You look at fish. There's a video on YouTube by Epicurious. This
okay,
fishmonger cuts 30 different fish species and shows you how to fillet them. And if you notice, and this is the kosher rule for marine life, anything that has fins and scales are kosher. Everything else is not.
right.
It is the easiest.
Like shellfish,
Yes.
right? Not
Octopus, shark, dolphin, obviously whale. Anything that does not have a fin nor scales is not kosher. Tuna is kosher. Even though they're small scales, they're still scales. You know, stuff like that. And you look at all the fish that he's cutting, and all the kosher fish have a very significant way to cut them that is designed that way. Because, you know, God said, hey, you can eat fish. Well, he designed them to be eaten and cut a certain way. And then you start looking at the fish that aren't kosher and how difficult they are to fillet.
like crab. Like you have to break and you have to really
Well, you know,
get to
even
it.
fish, like bottom feeders like blobfish and goblin fish, which are not kosher, he was breaking them down, and you see, wow,
was
this is really difficult.
Hmm.
This is not designed to be eaten.
Interesting.
And you see, he's like, yeah, and krill, for example, krill have amazing omega-3s and amazing amino acids to benefit the body, but they're not kosher. But krill are pink, right? And guess who eat a lot of krill? Salmon.
Oh,
Salmon
and
is
that's why
kosher.
they're.
Salmon is our natural filter to get those.
Oh, interesting.
Isn't that
Yeah,
amazing?
that is really
and
interesting.
salmon is one of the easiest fish to fillet
Yeah.
and eat.
That's crazy. I've been watching videos on people filleting.
Yeah,
because it's fantastic to
Is it?
watch.
And a lot of this kosher stuff that I've looked at is just, of course, it's by design.
Yeah.
You don't want to eat vultures. Vultures actually pee on their legs
Really?
because their pee is so acidic it kills any bacteria that tries to get on them while they're picking through carcasses.
Wow.
And their stomach acid is so powerful it will kill any viruses, bacteria, and break down bone
Wow.
because their stuff they were designed to eat carcasses.
So what about pigs? Because that's the big one, right?
Yes.
Is that tough? Because I love bacon.
No,
Right?
I don't miss bacon because there's turkey bacon and
Okay.
turkey's kosher.
Yeah.
And once you, just like sugar and any addictions that you have, once
Cut it
you
out.
really clear it, you don't want it. You don't crave it. You know, but no.
Chorizo?
No.
No.
We don't do it, and it's something we decided. And do we have to do it? Are we gonna die? No. Are we gonna be fine if we eat it? Yes.
Yeah.
Do we feel a moral obligation to do it? No. We, out of the free will we were given, decided, hey, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. So be it.
Wow.
You know. So and just looking at the anatomy and how certain things were created, it's just like, wow. For example, cows are kosher. And my friend just recently told me that their arteries on their neck are so thin and close that killing them, painless death would be super easy.
Really?
Because it's just so thin that you could just, bam, like
That, and they're done. No, you're fine.
But pigs, their arteries are so deep that it is going to be a grueling and painful death.
To kill them.
Because
Wow.
they were designed not to be killed like that.
Wow.
Another thing, my wife told me that they went to a facility. Well, she saw a documentary about a facility.
You do listen to a lot of Australian.
Yeah, they shorten everything.
I have an Australian buddy, and I went and visited him in Melbourne. Melbourne. And they said Daco there. And
Yeah,
so
Daco.
That took me right to it, dude. It took me right to it. That's beautiful.
So they put the pig through a tunnel, a conveyor belt, and they have no other way to kill this pig except to literally beat it to death.
Wow.
So the pig goes into the tunnel, and all you hear is the squealing of the pig with blunt trauma from all sides, just
to kill it,
beating the crap out of it to kill it.
Wow. And these big.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just conveyor tunnel.
I have a buddy, Phil Lorenz. I don't know if you know Phil Lorenz. He lives on 6th Street. Do you know Matt Whitney?
Oh, yes.
He does photography
yes,
and films and
Matt.
stuff.
Yes.
Good buddy of Matt is Phil. Phil was a butcher.
Yeah.
And so the way they would kill it is 22 to...
Really?
Yeah. There's a specific spot there.
Oh, sure. And I'm sure there's other ways to do it. But
yeah, but then this documented there.
There's these ways that people are doing it, and I'm sure there's the same for cows. In the scripture, it says, do not strangle, or do not strangle.
And let the blood sit in it.
Exactly.
Right.
And also, the fat around the cow was designed to absorb all the bacteria and viruses that is going through the bloodstream and organs and stuff. But people still eat it.
Yeah.
But it's not designed to be eaten. The rest of the cow is.
Yeah.
And people still eat it. And it's just fascinating the way that the Father created a lot of stuff. It's just like, there's a reason for all this.
Yeah.
But again, it's all by design. It's all by personal choice. I do not judge anyone for doing it. But I just ask that you try it and see the freedom, or not even freedom, but see how your body...
Yeah.
See how your body reacts. See what happens to your body. For example,
really
my wife got acne, horrible acne. And she stopped eating gluten. And she no longer has to do it. But there's these ladies who are being lied to, like, hey, acne, you can cover it up with this medicine stuff that you can buy.
It's just chemicals, and it's peeling off your...
Exactly. Instead of just not eating it.
Yeah, changing some diet
your body doesn't like it anymore. Like how we were designed to eat milk, or creatures were designed to eat milk in infancy. And that's why a lot of us are lactose intolerant, because our bodies grew out of that and are no longer needing that lactose.
But we're still shoving it down there.
Exactly. And who knows what it's doing to you. I'm severely lactose intolerant, unless it's yogurt.
Really?
Yogurt is because it's a probiotic.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. And a lot of this food industry has helped me learn a lot.
Because you're peeling back the layers. You're understanding it.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so interesting. All right. We should wrap it up because we're at 2 hours.
I know.
It's so
I'm
good.
so sorry.
And then, no. This is wonderful.
I told you, if you do not
No.
help me,
I got what I wanted, man.
Okay,
this is great.
If you do not help me, I will ramble to the death.
We'll do this again, too.
You want a part 2?
I would love a part 2 because I have other questions. Well, I'll finish with this because I've been asking people this.
Oh, sure.
What do you think about aliens? Do you think they're real?
There's a lot I have to say about aliens.
Okay. I may have just opened up another 2-hour conversation.
All I will say is it's more interesting than it sounds, because a lot of it is demonic.
Yeah.
You start reading about the people and seeing the people who have experiences, and it's a lot of occult influence, a lot of stuff they've done in their life, drugs most of the time. So I will say, no, I don't believe in what they call aliens. It's much more, and it has to do with a lot of what I believe, very interesting things that are going on here in these end times. That is going on. And the only thing I'll say is, in scripture it says, be aware of the times, for there will be many earthquakes and natural catastrophes. If you look at the recent recordings of earthquakes from the 70s before, you have a chart that is here at the bottom. In the last 40 years, the amount of earthquakes is about here compared to
what was beforehand.
Non-existent.
Yeah.
So it's weird, because that's not what you were expecting. Like, hey, it's aliens. Like, no, there's a lot more to it than I think is interesting, especially with how super metahumans are portrayed with the stories of Olympus, and in Genesis where it actually mentions Olympus and the great heroes who were there. So
you're talking like what's the I can't think of the giants, right?
Yeah, well, even more than that. The sons who were heroes of the greats. And then mentions Nimrod, who was what the scripture says great before the Father, but we all know Nimrod is very satanic and is responsible for a lot of paganism today with his wife, who wanted to abolish anything that the Father had established.
Who was Nimrod's wife?
I can't remember her
Yeah.
name.
Well, I'll save it for another podcast.
Yeah, but
because that's interesting. Yeah, and you talk about the Nephilim. That's what I was trying to say. The Nephilim, maybe.
yeah.
Because there was the whole that gets into some really interesting stuff too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have recently been turned on to a scholar, and he was talking about, and he kind of mirrored like Greek and Roman mythology with times before, recorded history, and you can kind of see some parallels there. Like how did the pyramids get built? You know what I mean? There's like things that we don't know, and there's that one verse in Genesis where they said, and they started building with bricks and not with stones anymore. You know what I mean? And they moved to bricks.
Yeah.
And so you wonder, like, how do they know how to build with those stones? And those stones are massive if you look at the pyramids.
No, and there's all kinds of hieroglyphics that have been studied that have interesting connotations to today's technology. And we're like, how did you get this?
Yeah.
And why, where did it go?
Right.
What's going on here? But a lot of that, my belief is that there is a lot going on with, this island stuff and much more being uncovered that is pointing this world to something more devious, which is mentioned in Revelation, which we're starting to see a great falling away of believers, and it is another sign. So, yeah.
That's good.
Sorry.
Oh no, that was awesome.
All food for thought.
Yeah.
Now we're like, crap. Now we have more curiosity.
Well, it's a good cliffhanger. Where can people find you?
So I'm always at the farmers market. I will be there tomorrow.
Goshen's Farmers Market. It's Tuesdays and Saturdays.
Starting in May, it'll be Tuesdays.
Okay, so it's only Saturdays.
This is the last week where we do not have a Tuesday. Well,
Okay.
Wait, no.
Next week.
Next week we will. Okay, so starting May, I will be there Tuesdays and Saturdays.
Okay.
Every Tuesday and Saturday.
Yep.
And then always just hit me up. Send me a message.
Where can they hit you up at?
On my Facebook currently.
Okay.
I'm working on a website.
Okay.
If anyone wants to help me with the website, that'd be great. So, nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah. What's the where do they find you on Facebook?
Just Guac N Squat.
Guac N Squat.
I'm there. Also, just message me. I try not to add friends personally because I don't think my beliefs and where I stand should mix with business.
Yeah.
Business should stay
on
with business.
Facebook. So your personal Facebook profile is just for you, not for anyone else.
Exactly. If you want to interact with me personally and have a conversation, you can do that through Facebook.
Yep.
My page, Guac N Squat. I will be more than happy to talk in length. I don't like arguments, but I love debates, and I love talking.
Good, healthy conversation.
Exactly, like this.
Yeah.
Granted, we never, we see eye to eye. But for someone,
scary.
for someone who doesn't, yes, you can find me there. Always send me a message. Same on Instagram. I'm not a young whippersnapper anymore. I'm an old man. I'm 30.
Yep.
And so I don't do TikTok, so I apologize.
Yeah, no TikTok.
Yeah.
Me either. Yeah, I wouldn't want to. Yeah, that's a Chinese just spying on you. But we'll
No.
see. Where can they find you on Instagram?
Same, guacansquat.official, because for some reason, Guac N Squat, even though it doesn't exist, I cannot get it.
Oh, weird.
It's sketch.
It's the man.
I don't know.
They just hating on you, man.
Yeah, there's not even an at Guac N Squat.
Really?
That no one has it.
But you can't get it.
But I can't get it, so I had to put Guac N Squat official.
Yep. And I'll put links to those in the show notes. So if anyone's listening, you just look down at, if you're listening on Spotify or any, so it's right there in the show notes, and then on YouTube we'll have it there too. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, Johan, this is awesome, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is good. You didn't know you're getting yourself into, and now
I guess not.
2 hours are finished. So,
thank you so much.
Right there. Well, okay. Until next time. Peace.
Bye, friends.
Oh, great.
What do you think?
Yeah.